for me is going to be I'm going to give everybody extra credit. So in other words, I'm going to go buy food that represents one item for all the students I have that come to school. So the people that are virtual, no, but everybody who's currently coming to school, I'll buy a food item for and give them the extra credit. And then go from there and figure it out. I don't know. It's hard for me. It's very hard for me. I have a long history with this. I really do. I take it very seriously because, again, it's something very dear to me. But
I got a lot of pasta, which is good. So it's not like all just
right. Like that's the thing. Like I'm not taking water this year. We'll talk about it on Friday because you guys are old enough to have the conversation. So we'll talk about it on Friday. All right. So real quick, this isn't going to take long at all. All right. Oops. So I want to hide that. All right. So working backwards, given the resulting summer difference, find the original angle. Identify what's going on and then use this to plug back into the original value. Okay. So the homework that's due tonight involves breaking it down into the two different things and presenting that. All right. Now we're going to work backwards. In other words, they're going to give you the answer, for lack of a better word, and you are going to have to figure out what the original question was. Okay, so what you have to do is this. You have to look at the problem and say, okay, cosine 6v, cosine negative 4v, sine 6v, sine negative 4v. Which of the three, sine, cosine, tangent, that we went over the other day, did they keep the cosines together and the sines together?
Oh, cosine?
Cosine. So you know your answer is going to be cosine of something. All right, now then you have to remember, well, in cosine, was this sign, SIGN, the same or the opposite? The answer is the opposite. So that means this was a minus problem. So then you have to do 6v minus negative 4v. Well, what's 6 minus negative 4? 6 plus 4, which is 10. So the original problem was cosine of 10v. Okay? The second problem had sine, cosine, minus cosine, and sine. Which of the three involved sine and cosine together? That would be sines. Okay, the difference is it was the same as that sign. So you would do negative 2 minus 5. Well, what's negative 2 minus 5? Negative 7. And then obviously, if it's got tangents, which one does it have to be? Tangent. And you just have to remember, okay, the above is the same, the bottom is the opposite. So this above being the same means we're adding. What's 5v plus 2v? 7v. That's it. You're talking about like for homework?
Yeah, like negative 7v, negative 7 theta.
Yeah. I mean, you can work with V during the thing and then plug it back in, but if you do it, it's kind of wrong. All right. What the heck? All right. So the your turn one. All right. Since the answers are already up there, which wasn't supposed to be. Cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Again, that's cosines. The opposite of negative is positive. And why is that u? It should be negative. It should be cosine of negative u. Oh, John, popsicle.
Wait.
What?
I don't understand the sine cosine one.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. That's going to bother me. The one on the bottom?
yes, the one on the bottom.
Okay, what's 4v plus 2v?
Oh, we don't have to match the signs?
When it's sine, cosine, cosine, sine, it's sine. This is what we're getting at. That's the point.
Okay.
So Jada, when the cosines are together and the sines are together, it's cosine.
Yeah.
When the sine and cosine are separate, then it's sine.
No, I know those. I just didn't, wasn't listening when I was given the other option.
Oh my God. How could you be so hurtful?
In the other problem, I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to write the tangent.
Hurt's already done. Words are like toothpaste. Once they come out, you can't pretty much get them back in.
Yeah, but sometimes I say things wrong.
Everybody understand the purpose of these problems?
I got nervous the other day. So it's when the cosine is together and the sine is together, that's cosine, and then when the
Yep. So this is from the other day. So when the cosines are together, it's cosine. When they're separate, when there's one of each, it's sine. Yep. Yep.
I like this stuff better.
Well, that's why you're gonna have one big quiz in the building the day that you have the quiz.
Do you have a quiz?
On not next week, the last Monday before we go away for Christmas. You have a quiz in here, and you'll have anything you want that people would have at home. If you want to bring a book, if you want to bring your phone, any resource that anybody would have at home, you can do. Yeah.
Wait, when is break?
Break is the last day of school is the 23rd. So you will take your quiz on the 21st, the Monday. Today.
Oh.
Can we not do this right now? We don't have a lot. All right, second and final part of today's lesson, proving and simplifying expressions. You will utilize the sum and difference formulas to either prove an identity or simplify an expression. You will find things will cancel. In other words, multiplying by 1, adding 0, multiplying by 0. All those things so that the results match up with what we're trying to justify. All right. All right. So, the proof part. So prove cosine pi over 2 minus x equals sine x. That is a cofunction identity. So you're going to use these formulas to prove that. So when we had cosine pi over 2 minus x, you will rewrite that as cosine pi over 2 cosine x plus sine of pi over 2 sine x. That's where 5.4 comes in. The cosine of any two things being subtracted is the product of their cosines plus the product of their sines. Oh, I'm not playing. I was rushing. So 10 minutes. All right. So the cosine of the difference of two things is the product of their cosines plus the product of their sines. What do we do with that? Now they're giving you a value, pi over 2. So you should be able to calculate that. The cosine of pi over 2, because the x-coordinate there is 0, becomes 0. So this becomes 0 times cosine x. Well, whatever cosine x is, when we multiply by 0, it's simply what? This here. Got me? Now the sine of pi over 2 is the y-coordinate. Pi over 2, the y-coordinate is what? 1. And 1 times anything stays exactly the same. So 1 times sine x would be sine x. That's basically what you would do. If you want to skip that second step in between, that would be perfectly fine by me. So you're going to take values you know and use them. So in other words, everything's going to come out to 0 or 1. Make sense? So you're talking about like the tangent of pi over 4. Because the tangent of pi over 4 is 1. You're talking about the sine of x, because the sine of pi, because the sine of pi is 0. So everything's going to be 1 and 0, and then it's going to simply go away. Okay, good. All right, then we're going to simplify. All right, so simplifying the expression cosine of theta minus 3 pi over 2. Again, the cosine of the difference of two numbers is the product of their cosines plus the product of their sines. So cosine theta minus 3 pi over 2 equals cosine theta cosine 3 pi over 2 plus sine theta sine 3 pi over 2. All right. 3 pi over 2 is down here in the third, on the y-axis in the negative. Cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. Just like in the last problem, 0 times anything is going to what? Simply disappear. Sine of theta stays, so anything that's a variable stays. 3 pi over 2, the sign of that, because you're in the negative area, is -1. So basically the cosine of theta minus 3 pi over 2 equals negative sine. Boom. And that's it. All right, so there's nothing new in terms of information. You're just applying it to a different problem. All right, everybody good? All right. So if we had to simplify the expression tangent theta plus 3 pi, you first rewrite it using the sum formula. The tangent would be the sum of the individual tangents over 1 minus the product of it. Okay? So this is always the same as the sign of the original problem. That is always the opposite of the original problem. Tangent of theta is a variable that will stay. You will have to calculate the value of the tangent of 3 pi. Okay? At 3 pi, you have to remember what that is. At that point, you're on the x-axis. The y value on the x-axis is, of course, 0. So the tangent would be 0. So you end up with that. Tangent of theta plus 3 pi is tangent of theta plus 0 over 1 minus tangent of theta times 0. The tangent of theta plus 0 is the tangent of theta. 1 minus the tangent of theta is 1. Tangent theta divided by 1 is tangent theta. So you're simplifying. But in other words, you're really doing the same.
So this will look like the answers to these problems from
What?
The answers to these problems from homework and stuff would just be like tangent theta, negative sine theta.
Yes, but for these that just say simplify. You'll come when you say simplify. See how you started with 2 things and you ended up with 1?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the idea. Just trying to make it small. So you should. I know what you're saying. So with these, you should end up with 1 thing. What? Well, for the proof ones, which is what the majority of the homework is, they'll tell you what it should be equivalent.
Right.
You got me?
What does this one do?
Right. We're going to go. Boom shakalaka.
Do you have a copy of the homework?
Absolutely. Just give me 1 second to walk through this. I have everything you need. Okay. So, due tonight is the 5.4 homework 1. Okay. If you do not already have a copy of that, that's right there. That's the homework that's due tonight. All right. So that's what's due tonight. That's the only thing that's due tonight. Okay. Now what I just gave you is 5.4 assignment 2. That is due Friday night at midnight. All right. So tomorrow there will be a new lesson involving solving equations. Okay. Tomorrow there'll be a new lesson involving solving equations. If on Friday, and there'll be an assignment that goes with that. So when you come in on Friday, if you want to work on this and the assignment that goes with that, pay attention to Margaret and Lush. If not, then we'll go through that as well because it's just solving equations. All right? You good? Perfect. And tomorrow, virtual math lab is also available after school.